Average Dude has something to say about...
Everybody, welcome back. It's been a while since I've talked about this thing called maladaptive daydreaming disorder, a term that Dr. Eli Sommer, PhD, coined. He was referring to these people that we've all seen around that daydream so much more than the rest of the normal folk around. You're not really going to be able to tell because you can't really read people's thoughts, but the daydreaming becomes so unbelievably excessive. You can tell that these people are space cadets after a while. You just kind of have to catch them in the act, or they'll be walking and every once in a while they'll kind of make facial expressions. They'll be talking in thin air. It's very clear that they are talking to someone. That is, well, nowadays it's a little more difficult because you have Bluetooth and smartphones and all that. You never really can tell if someone's talking to themselves or if they're really talking to someone with technology. But for those of us that are older, oh, good Lord, we've always known these people existed. The little kids that are, playing ball in front of their homes, the basketball hoop in the front yard, in the driveway, and they're kind of playing around. And then they kind of act like they're talking to a partner that isn't there, like, throw me the ball and all that, and they're kind of just, they're in their own little world. We've all known these people that daydream so much more than everybody else. And Sommer actually put a label to it, and well, I'll tell you what, very few people have talked about this, but more are starting to. And the problem that I have with this is that there's a lot of people are really jumping to some interesting conclusions, especially those who clearly do not identify as being like this. Now, obviously, the vast majority of people that are talking about the excessive daydreaming, the Walter Mitty's of the world, they identify as maladaptive daydreamers. Yeah, I'm like this, and I'm coming out of the closet, so to speak. I'm coming out and telling the world, via the likes of the internet, that this is the way I am. I'm one of these people, and they have a lot of courage. And then you have some of these people that come up with these ridiculous do-it-yourself, DIY, do-it-yourself, help solve the situation, and they clearly do not have any idea what this is like. I've read online and seen so many videos where people have come up with the most unbelievably bizarre and false comparisons. It's an addiction. It's not necessarily an addiction, and I'll go over why, because that's the most prevalent, but also these people that say, oh, it's like you always have noise in your head, and the best that it's like a TV that's always on, and the best that you can do is lower the volume down and get it to the point where it's kind of like in the old days when broadcast television stations, they would go off the air for a certain amount of hours at night. Shh. And then you would hear the static. It's sort of that white noise. And this is what these people would say, it's like this. No, it's not. First of all, be very careful, because pretty much everyone that's come out as saying that they are a maladaptive daydreamer, they know the difference between reality and fantasy, and they do not hear voices. That would be along the lines of schizophrenia, and that's a totally different animal to deal with. That kind of stuff can do a lot of damage, but I'll tell you what. Let's get to the heart of the matter. What is maladaptive, in other words, excessive daydreaming, really like? We seem to have this ridiculous impression that you can solve it. Take a look, do a search, because the most popular videos are the how to control it, specifically how to stop it, how to cure it. You cannot stop and you cannot cure this. And you people that are saying this really need to step back, breathe, take a moment, and think about this. I mentioned take a breath for a reason, because it's like breathing, people. Excessive daydreaming is like breathing, okay? You don't always have control over it. It happens. Breathing's very interesting because sometimes you can consciously decide to do it. Okay, right there. I chose to take that breath. I thought about it. I knew I wanted to do it, and I did it. Throughout this entire video, I have not been paying attention to my breathing. And you know what? I've been breathing this entire time. Because breathing is both voluntary, by choice, and involuntary, on its own. And so is thinking. And when it comes to daydreaming, whether it's excessive or not, that's what daydreams are. They're thought. You cannot just, it's not like a light switch. You don't just simply turn it on and off. You cannot just turn your brain on and off. Even when you're asleep, your brain is still processing information. You are still thinking. You cannot turn it off. You cannot cure this. You cannot stop it. And you people that are throwing this out there really need to think about this. This can do a lot of damage to those who go through this and are just blindsided, like, oh my God, there's a name to this. There are others out there. It's not just me. That really hits people hard. And when you're giving this false information, that does more damage than it does good. Now, I imagine that a lot of these people have really good intentions, but this is very bad information. And the next video that I want to do, because this is long overdue, is about the help, all of the how to cure it, how to stop it. They all tend to have one particular thing in common, and they all inevitably fail. And I know that the people that are going through this probably aren't going to want to hear it. They probably didn't want to hear me explain in previous videos that when I spoke about triggers, you hear about the stuff that brings it on, and oh, the television bad, books bad, video games bad because they are music bad. I've heard that since I was a kid. No, stress. Stress is the worst trigger because it's bad enough for regular people, but when your mind is on maximum overdrive with thoughts, you really start to have a bunch of thoughts of what can go wrong and how in the world do you get through this and make it right, and you just won't stop. You keep going over the scenarios over and over and over and over and over. And I mean, with daydreams or, nice things, that wanting your life to be better than what it really is in real life, that's those pleasant daydreams, that's one thing. Focusing on those situations over and over and over. Stressful situations are entirely different. And that's when you run into territory where people start going out for walks late at night and getting lost because they're that lost in thought, and also because they start to get sick to their stomach or have headaches. That's a big deal. Stress. I'm sure a lot of people got very nervous when I said that. I'm the only one so far that said that. And on top of that, I said that really when it comes right down to it, the maladaptive daydreamer's worst enemy is free time. Nobody was talking about that one either. When you have a whole bunch of free time, like the family leaves and they leave and you're the excessive daydreamer are left in the house, you pace. Maybe you might utter a word or some facial expressions and then stuff, and then pace. These people waste endless hours doing nothing but daydreaming, and then the family comes home. Hey, what'd you do while we were gone? Oh, well, nothing. Wait, what? You did nothing? What do you mean? And these people are not going to tell the truth. Oh, yeah, I was daydreaming and pacing around the house, back and forth, the whole time you were gone. They're not going to say that. No one else is talking about these things, and I really think that people who don't excessively daydream like this need to hear about it, because this is not healthy to pretend that we don't notice that this situation is real and these people exist. And I think it's extremely unhealthy for people that do live this and it's real for them to be given false information. So yeah, next video I'm going to dare go where no one else has gone before and point out exactly why these how to cure it's inevitably fail.